Hey everypony, today we're reading Rain Dog, a webcomic by Dana Simpson, and I'm not sure what to expect from this, but I have heard of this. And I know there's some interspecies tomfoolery going on in this comic, but I'm not sure to what degree. So, this is me pleading the fifth in case things get particularly horrendous. I do not know what's about to happen. When I told one of my furry friends that I'm reading this, he said I should get dolled up and wear my finest spay and new to your pets adoption t-shirts, and I've got a feeling that this is worse than strolling around town with a giant kick me sign. Hopefully, the laughs are big enough that you'll throw a like, comment, subscribe my way. Any interactions are greatly appreciated. I am making an active appeal for your engagement because I like doing YouTube, and hopefully, I can keep doing it full time. This is a special bonus Thursday episode because we met our super chat goal during Tuesday's premiere. Special thank you to Crystalline Fos and Odunzes Mole for chipping into the goal. I will read your super chat messages at the end of the video, and if you miss this week's, next Tuesday we'll do another. We'll typically start our premiere streams by voting on which series you'd want to see for a Thursday episode, and once we've got a clear winner, the goal is set and it's off to the races. But if you don't have time for that and you want to make me read something, you could skip all that by going to my Ko-fi and commissioning me to read whatever it is you want to see me read. All right, now that our plugs are out of the way, let's read Rain Dog. So we start, it's a very interesting color choice because it's all monochrome with blue. But we start chapter 1, the smell of the city. And so we see a dog with a jacket and glasses. I think it's a girl dog because she got some big eyelashes. So we see her walking around the street and she's talking. And we got a talking dog comic. So she says, "I've heard humans complain about the way cities smell, but trust me, it's different if you're a dog. My nose is like your eyes. It's how I experience the world. And you know how some things look interesting, even if they're not pretty? That's what the city is like for me. I'm constantly surrounded by interesting smells. A dog in the city is never bored. I was the It was the first time I remember ever being proud of my kind." Oh boy. Is this out of order? This is a weird way, like, jump where it's like, oh, she's in the city, but now she's like remembering? Huh. I'm sorry to get all mixed up so soon, but it's like surely I'm wrong, right? Like this art, like, it looks too competent to make some like basic narrative mistake like that. I actually did download from the okay, yeah, that is wrong. Okay. I downloaded from this from the Internet Archive, like, because you can also download it as um yeah, you could download the thing, and it looks like it's different in the files. So let's open that up. Holy moly. Wow. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I got it. Sorry about that. It's yeah. So sometimes you could just kind of tell with a comic, like, if you know, like, if someone knows what they're doing right away. It does give that vibe. It does give that vibe. Maybe that's why this has such a reputation, because it looks competent. And that does set up expectations, certain expectations. Let's see. I hope there's nothing embarrassing with my files. Well, I got rid of my Yowie folder, so I think we'll be okay. Anyway, so she is a dog in the city is never bored, is what she says. But so then she continues. And she says, "But smell is an older sense than sight. Living things were smelling the world millions of years before they were seeing it. Because of that, smells are the most powerful memory trigger. So if it's also your major sense, the past has a tendency to follow you around." Oh, interesting. Yeah, like I've heard that smell is the powerful memory trigger. I've heard that. Huh. Past has a that's a really interesting connection. Oh, and then the dog sniffs, and then we see her thinking. We see a dog reading a book. We see a gun. See someone holding a wine glass. Looks like she's in doggy prison in that one. So I see a child chasing her, and then some protesters, animal rights, a paw print on a sign. vote Rain Dog just as pets are people. And she says, sorry, but actually, around here it happens much less. Ooh. And so she thinks of coffee, and then she goes to a coffee shop and continues. Anyway, the other thing is the city is more enlightened than some places I've been. Here I get treated more like, well, like a person, and I can't help but take a certain amount of credit for that. So she's talking to the barista and says, 16-ounce chai, please. Here you are, girl. Girl. Sigh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Interesting. You know, I've unnecessarily brought up house pets in my last two videos. And like I don't want to be too quick to make a big old stink about house pets. Um, but that was a really big issue that just made house pets worse. Was I feel like it didn't fully think through the animal rights angle. So I will be interested in how this work how this work handles things, because it's starting out like, hey, we are conscious, like in setting the rules of like talking animal liberation. All right, so oh nice, okay, chapter 2 beginning. Oh, all right, so we see the dog is got a little coffee cup, and she's still talking to us, and she says, I've heard that it's impossible to remember a smell in its absence. Personally, I've never found that to be the case. I could still smell my earliest memory clearly. Ooh. So then we see a boy reaching into a cage. He says, "Ooh, hey dad, how about this one?" He's first, my boy. It was love from the very beginning. Uh-oh. 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 The drive to my new home was quite picturesque, a fact I would only learn later. For from where I was, I could still catch every fascinating smell. And I can't blame them, really. It's gotta be hard, driving with a happy puppy loose in the car. Thump, 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 thump. We see the car driving down the street. We see the dog in a carrier, and the little human boy is looking pretty excited about that. And he says, "Aw, she's so excited you can hear her tail hitting the side of the carrier." Thump, 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 thump. Oh, to be a puppy again. To be able to wag for hours without your tail ever getting sore. It's natural and inevitable, I guess, that memories get sugar-coated. And, I don't know, maybe most of the time that's a good thing. It's good to have something to treasure. Life isn't perfect. And as she's saying that, we see her playing with the kid, tackling him, dancing, playing into water, walking around, looking cool with some sunglasses. And she continues, but the past gets more perfect, and that makes the present better. Better. The past gets more perfect, and that makes the present better. Sometimes, though, I think it's important to remember the imperfections, too. Oh, and we see she got hit by a newspaper, and someone from off screen says, bad dog. Ooh. Uh-oh. Words were a mystery to me at first. I'm told humans don't remember that far back. You're born pretty undeveloped. The world is uncomplicated before you fill your head with words and concepts. The words you pick up first tend to be the ones for things that you either matter to you. Walk? And we see someone off screen asking walk, and then next panel pointing no. Or matter to the people in charge of you. But soon, you learn words just because you find listening a joy. Oh, man. Wow, this is a very interesting, it's like, yeah, that's how you learn a language. It's interesting seeing that applied to a dog, and like, yeah, I've heard that where like a dog will know, the dog will know the word walk, and just through association. I've had a pet where like every time I left the house, like even if I didn't say anything, like I guess like I guess they could like just sense that like I was like moving around different, but they'd be like, oh, you going somewhere? Oh, like and like, and they get all excited. It Wow, this is interesting. Huh. In, also interesting. Yeah. So we're starting chapter 3. It's like wow. So that was just like a perfectly timed spot for like just end scene. Perfect time to for me to start yapping. So let's see. Chapter 3, Leica. So now we see the dog walking past a mural of a flying dog in space, and she says, "Every time I move past this wall, I stop. Don't know who drew it, a man or dog or whoever. If you ask any human about a heroic dog of 20th century, those who say Lassie think she's so cute, but people who are serious would say Leica." Oh boy. Oh boy. And so we hear from off screen. It looks like this is a flashback to when she was a puppy. So we hear from off screen, "Bye, princess. See you when we get home. You can talk to the dog later, honey." As a pup, I had a different name and a lot of free time. At first, I mostly just chewed on stuff when my humans were out. Nom nom nom. But eventually my mind wanted to be fed too. Now she's chewing on War and Peace. Nice. Jeff had read to me enough that I could do simple reading on my own, and when he was at school and the big humans were at work, I learned. And that's how I discovered the first of my canine heroes. Oh my gosh, she was a dog like me? Sorry. Yeah, it's the same character. It's the same character. Just was switching. That shows she's saying that. But we see that she's looking at a picture of Leica the space dog. Someone like me had gone where no human was brave enough to go. Someone like me had changed the world. Oh, interesting. I it was the first time I remember ever being proud of my kind. And so now we see her with a space helmet on. She's talking to the boy and she says, "Let's play space. I could be Leica and you, how about the ozone layer?" "Not this time. I want to be Darth Vader or something like that." I was pretty obsessed. I had only the first chapter of this book, but I memorized everything in it very fast. "Oh, did I tell you that Leica was a tramp before she became famous?" I was so excited when, after a couple of years, Jeff brought home another book. "Do you still want to eat my homework? It really helped me out." I found a quiet place to snuggle and read. Wow. And she's thinking as she's reading, and she says, "Wow, they even built a monument to her." But then shocked face. Oh no. Oh, she's gonna find out what happened to Leica. Oh no. Oh no. I guess I was already aware that Leica had died in space, but I had this notion she was a brave hero risking her life voluntarily. And so we see Leica saluting to a soldier, and she says, "If I don't make it," and the soldier says, "I will tell your puppies you died a hero." But, in fact, she was just some stray, not human, nobody's pet, they felt was expendable. She had no idea what was going on. And so she died, alone and afraid. She was a hero she never knew. And then we cut. So there's a panel of Leica in space, and then we cut back to the main character looking at the mural in the present day. Hmm. Wow. I like. Yeah, that's true. Like that dog didn't know what was going on. Huh. All right. Chapter 4, On the Fence. So we're starting with another puppy flashback. Throwing the frisbee. She chomps on the frisbee, and the boy says, "Awesome, nice catch, girl." Again, "Just a minute, pet, pet, pet." "Sure, whenever you're ready." "You always seem to get tired first." "I wonder why. Throwing stuff must be exhausting." "What's so much fun about fetching things anyway?" "I guess that's a good question. I guess, why is anything fun? I'm a dog, so I'm just kind of set up to like fetching." "I guess so. It's weird though sometimes. I almost forget you're not human. You're just, this cool girl oh, this cool girl I know who catches things in her mouth, and then we see his hand go on the dog's hand. Oh no." All right. We are 13 pages into this. Oh, that's how long it took. That's how long it took. Oh no. Oh no. Well, all right. So before anything questionable happens, we start our new chapter, number 5, the canine soul. And so we see the dog paw and the human hand doing the creation of Adam, two hands touching out. So we see the dog in modern time, and she's standing in front of a church, and she says, "You have a soul and I don't. You're made in God's image and I'm not." Oh, fuck. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. You know, that's one of those unsettling things about Veggie Tales that I did not notice while watching Veggie Tales, where it's like the vegetables will say like God loves you very much, and where it's like the vegetables cannot be saved. Like the veggies cannot be saved because they're vegetables, and they also had like a hard rule of like, okay, we're not going to do any Jesus stuff. Um but uh if the Veggie Tales said this, it would freak me out. Like um wow, it's interesting seeing this. So she says, "You have a soul and I don't. You're made in God's image and I'm not. God made me first, then made you and gave you dominion over me. And when we die, I'm dust, but you get to live forever." Oh fuck, dude. I've heard all this and more from too many humans to count. Someone shouted at me in anger, but more often spoken as casual fact. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a bummer. Um, it's a bummer, but like I'm interested to hear it. I've just like I've heard this like said very matter of factly from uh church ladies looking to ruin my day as a baby taper, like asking like, "Oh, like am I going to see my pets in heaven?" And I've heard a very strong, "No, animals don't have souls." Like I've heard that, and it fucking sucks. Ah man. This is like an interesting way to build this like how like just the oppression baked into their society. Very interesting. Cuz yeah, like I said, you know, you could hear this in the real world. Let's see what's going on. So she continues and says, "For all I know it's true, but for all you know it's not. The stuff we choose to believe, and what we choose to believe or not believe, says a lot about who we are, what gaps in our lives we're trying to fill. Maybe I have a soul and maybe I don't. But there is one thing we both know for sure. I have a tail and you don't." And I think you're jealous and compensating. That's what I believe. Oh man. Oh, this is a great way. Oh. So it's not just doom and gloom over actually no dogs go to heaven. I like that. That gives her like a good attitude. So it's not just like, "Oh, the world sucks. Oh, isn't it just so fricked up?" I like that. This is a fun like twist on that, because yeah, it's like what do you it's like, yeah, what do you like, so cuz I'm thinking back to like every time I've heard somebody say, "Oh, sorry sweetie, but dogs don't go to heaven." Like, you know, like I'm thinking of all of those, you know, just it's just every unpleasant church lady that's ever said that, where it's like, yeah, like what the fuck, like do you say to that, where it's like do you try to argue facts and logic out of the Bible? Do you try to pull up the whole like, well, then why does see, I'm like, I see, I'm gonna you know, pull up the uh what's it called, like where like you think of the comeback, like days later. It's like, well, if there's no animals in heaven, then why does it say the lion will lie down with the lamb? Why? Like like I don't want to relay that here, but this is this is a good comeback to any religious zealot that says dogs don't have souls. I have a tail and you don't, and I think you're jealous and compensating. I like that. I like that. This is that's a good twist on it, because it's like, instead of like trying to out logic it, and or even go like the kindness route, where it's just like, okay, but like heaven would fucking suck if my dogs aren't there. um I Yeah, instead, like, just kind of turn it into something more childish, and be like, well, your belief is stupid and also my tail is cool. Like, I like that. I like that. All right. So chapter 6, the coming storm. So flashback to when she's a puppy, and we see her, she's in a doghouse and looking all stormy out. So she's narrating and says, on a warm summer night, sleeping outside is quite pleasant, but there are other kinds of nights. Crack, whimper. All right, and she's looking at the rain, looking out, and she's thinking, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid. She whimpers and goes up to the human's window. Uh-oh. The human says, Princess, are you all right? Ah, you're shaking. Why don't you come in? I lay there on Jeff's bed, listening to the storm outside. The thunder seemed much farther away than it had before. Oh, man. Uh-oh. All right, so next morning, she's cuddling up with him. The rain clears up, and he goes, morning, princess. Whoa! Oh, no! Bro! Nah. Look, 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 I know sex shaming. I know kink shaming. I know that it's not like food. I know it's not like the 3-second rule. I know it's not like, hey, I'm not trying to kink shame. I know. I'm gonna like, I know I can't just say, guys, I'm not kink shaming when I laugh hysterically at this furry comic. Guys, I'm actually really woke. Come on, believe me. I'm like super open-minded, but like this is a very unexpected turn of events. And for our audio only listeners, for anyone who is off doing their laundry, sorry for not explaining what I saw first, but so we see we see you know what, I'll start with the big emphasis panel at the bottom, because the kid and the dog are making out in the big emphasis panel on the bottom. But okay. Nah. So we see we we see the dog. You see the dog, and it says, "Morning, Jeff. Hey, when you think about it, I'm the first girl you ever spent the night with." And they look in each other's eyes, and the kid says, "Yeah, and then they smoocheroo. Ooh. And then from off screen we hear, Jeff, oh my God. Well, I feel like in their world, this isn't so much furry as it is like making out with your sister, which is also pretty, like, come on, man, you gotta laugh a little at that. Oh, what? What the hell? Okay, so our next our next our next our next page starts. It's all black, and she opens her eyes slowly, and then she realizes she had a surgery. So so she says, I guess I can't totally blame them. And I guess Jeff and I ought to have known better. We were old enough to know it was a taboo. So she looks, she blinks around. But it's a pretty high price to pay just for your first kiss. Oh no. Oh, oh, that sucks. What? Um, so I guess she got fixed. Okay. Well, that sucks for you. And next chapter is titled Estrogen and Coffee. Oh boy. Well, So we see her at the pharmacy, and she says, "Prescription for Rain Dog, please."
Of course, here you are. Have a nice day.
They have my current owner's signature on file there. One of the things I love about the city is it seems like there's endless supply of second chances. Also, there are coffee places within walking distance where they allow animals, and I can talk with a friend. Huh. Well, I saw that this was tagged as a transgender comic. Well, I guess we'll see I guess we'll see if it's if because like if it's some like if this is a comic that has like the themes of and it resonated with that audience, or if they're deliberately doing something more on the nose. um that's an interesting consequence of she gets fixed and then cut to present day and she has to take estrogen. Yeah, because it's like that. Hmm. Like that doesn't, because like when you hear of somebody taking estrogen, my mind uh that like my mind goes to like trans girls doing that. Um, so I guess we'll see, we'll see. And so the dog, so we see a cat smoking a cigarette, having a coffee, and Rain Dog says, "Hey, you over here, here, kitty, kitty, kitty." The cat says, "Oh, there you are. Sit, stay. I ordered you herbal tea. I know you've already had coffee today." "Thanks. You're not going to ask how I know that?" "If I do, you'll just get that smug look on your face and tell me that I can't walk past your coffee shop before noon without going inside. And you know that because cats will always outsmart dogs." Oh, interesting animal stereotypes we've got here. Interesting. Well, yeah, pretty much. He takes a puff of a cigarette, and so Rain Dog continues. "You see, this is why I have to get out of the city for a while. I'm in a rut." Just so just so you're coming back. The place would be pretty boring without you." "Was it boring before I got here?" "Yep, but back then I was used to it. You're not allowed to make me get used to it all over again." "Well, don't worry. I'll be back as scheduled. I like my life around here. I'd miss sitting around with you being mutually offensive." Gonna trigger the libs. All right, next chapter. Off the leash. And it looks like this is another flashback. And so she says, I feel myself so bad here. I realized what happened to me, but looking back to the past, everything seemed obvious. A few years without Jeff doesn't fit in my standard of living. Even a fresh air oppresses me, and it isn't so fresh in this vicinity. And we see that she is tied up to a tree, and she's not looking happy about that. Oh man. So so we see a overhead shot of a house, shot of the boy walking the dog, and a zoom in on that before they pack up, and then someone ruffles her hair. So let's read the dialogue that goes with that. "I miss my home, but I got used to this home. Or I thought I got used to it. I am not sure. Maybe it is. After my operation, Jeff still walked with me. Everything was good, but not as good as it was before. But soon the Jeff's parents decided that the best for him is to spend time with other children. Princess, I will write to you from the boarding school. I was also sent to some other place. Princess, you know what? We decided to send you to live with my brother in the vicinity." Uh-oh. They splitting them up. They splitting them up. "It wasn't so bad at first. Lots of new stuff to smell. But time passed." And she's smelling a mushroom, but then she just gets progressively more bored as she's tied up to a tree. "There's a moment just before you go crazy from boredom and loneliness when you're aware it's about to happen, and it's your chance to act. The leash was locked to my collar." She's tugging at the leash. "I know what you're probably thinking. Why didn't I just unfasten my collar the first day I was there?" "And go where?" "I'd never been a stray. I'd never even met one. But we're social animals. You can only leash us outside alone for so long before it gets to us." And we see her taking off her collar and walking away from the tree. "I can't say exactly what I was thinking. If you think about it too much, real freedom is terrifying. But if you don't think about it enough, you might not like where you end up." Huh. Well. Yeah, well, we'll see where she goes. Maybe see where she's just packing up her bindle, getting the hell out of there. I like it. Yeah. Shit sucks. Hit the bricks. Good on you. All right, chapter 9, trust. So we see a Doberman and he's sniffing, sniff, and he starts barking. Barking at Rain Dog, who does not have a leash. She says, "Hey, take it easy. I just want to pass by your territory in peace." Well, all right, but you're still lucky my chain doesn't stretch any farther than this. What are you doing without your collar? B-word. You have a good smell and don't look like homeless. Don't say that. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little, but not, as you say. I got loose at the morning. And how did you open the lock? Have you stolen the key? No, I just locked the lead and went away. Are you kidding? Your owners didn't watch you at all? I guess they trusted me. Yeah, right. Or they just didn't bother to you. Just stay on the chain. Oh, and then she's thinking about that. This is good page layout, like just because yeah, this is just two characters talking. Then it's very smooth, like back and forth. I like this panel of the silhouettes. Like there's a good sense of it's also nice little detail with the Doberman. How they let's zoom in. Let's see if we could zoom in a little. Ruh-roh. Maybe we can't. Oh no, too far. Too far. I'm not looking. Um so yeah, but I wanted to point out how the Doberman is they do this nice like when the chains around the black part of the Doberman they ink it white, a little lock. That's a neat little detail. You know, interesting character design with the blue around the eyes. But also like I immediately know that's a Doberman, so that's a nice little touch. That's a nice touch. Oh, the man, the trees in the background are great. Like this is a good way, like very simplified way to to show like depth of field where some of the trees have an outline and then we see one in the background without an outline, so it's just kind of like just kind of fading out like that. Yeah. Man, then um yeah, it's a very easy comic to take in, definitely. Oh yeah, this is a good shot with so chapter 10, starting a new page, and this is the mooing of lot 94. It says, I didn't know where I was going, and we see that she is walking down, looks like a farm road. Man, she says, but I got learned these roads better without the collar. So she's sniffing. Cows. Cows, the fateful cows. She's looking at the cows. Should I say something? Excuse me. After all, restraint is not for me. The cow says, what do you want? I could help you get out of there. Out of where? Out of that pen. I could set you free. What are you talking about? This is our home. This is where the humans feed us. They do that because they're going to kill you and eat you. What would a dirty stray know about that? I'm telling you it's true, and I could help you escape. You mean you could help us become mangy strays like you? You aren't wearing a license. I suppose you eat human trash. And we neither eat nor talk to trash. And the cow gives a little sachet and walks away. I opened the gate anyway in case some of them did decide to run. I'm pretty sure none of them did, though. And now, then, next scene, we see her digging through a garbage can, and she says, later, I savored my freedom. What did doomed cows know anyway? And she sees a bone, and she starts eating the bone. This is a good simplified city shot with. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. Uh, well, I like this panel with this simplified city skyline, the single street light, the garbage can, the garbage dumpster. Yeah, very like it's also with the limited color palette, they've done a good job of showing um like I know this sounds very basic, but it's like I know that this is nighttime and I know that this panel is daytime. And you know, a lot of that is just you know, it's not just like where do we put the black and the inks. It's also like you know all of the farm scene. It's just very light. So, and there is that openness of like, where's she going? Who knows? Let's see. So let's see. Chapter 11, Chloe. And we see Rain Dog is looking at a woman with a nose piercing and glasses. And so she is reading a book. Looks like she's inside, and Rain Dog opens the door and says, "Hey, Chloe."
Oh, hey, Rain. I was starting to think you'd gone already.
"Nope, not for a few hours yet."
Good, because I have one more thing for you first.
She hands her a letter, and Rain says, "What's this?"
It's just in case your license isn't enough. It's a notarized letter, attesting that I'm your owner by common pet adoption law, and no one else can legally keep you.
She's looking at it. Then she looks at the woman, says, "You're worried he's going to make me stay, aren't you?"
I want to be sure. You're the best behaved roommate I've ever had.
"Best behaved."
All right, sorry. You know what I meant.
"Yeah."
Seriously, I'm gonna miss you, Blue Thing, even if it's only for a couple of days. I,
"I packed my cell phone charger. Chances are I'll need to talk to someone before this is over. There is one thing you can do for me right now, though." And she's wagging her tail, and then we see the woman giving the dog the belly rubs. "Anyone who will give you belly rubs and still respects you is a friend to keep." Oh, interesting. Interesting getting into the legal minutia here, but then immediately going into the like, oh, but she still likes the belly rubs. Well, let's see where this goes. So now this next page starts, and it's just Rain Dog talking directly into the camera, white background. Yeah. So what she got to say? So she says, "Hello, I'm the star of this story, which we'll return to presently. But first, I keep hearing about how the blue dogs in Congress are standing in the way of meaningful health care reform. As an actual blue dog, I want to say that I am in no way responsible." Oh, boy. "The U.S. has a ridiculously awful healthcare system. I'm all for fixing it as fast as possible. Not to be hypersensitive, but could we please call congressional tools of the insurance industry by some other name? Douchebags would be fine. Thank you. Now back to our story." Oh, boy. Oh. Um. Well. Uh, okay. That kind of killed any mystique with their world building. Um. But hopefully it's just that. Hopefully it's just that one. Like I don't know how many like how many per per chapter we should give leeway towards having like the author just using their main character to sock puppet and say like, oh, this is the way things are. All right, so chapter 12 starts, and it's called Chasing My Tail. And so we see Rain Dog is sleeping in the woods. And so she says, After I left the stockyard, I slept in a wooded area, and I dreamed." She sees her tail has a face, and she bites the tail. Rawr. Then then the tail is smiling and gets big teeth. And the tail says, "Who is she? What should we do with her?" And we see that she's sleeping, and then a bunch of dogs are surrounding her, and they said, "Maybe we should just kill her for being in our territory." "No, we need to bring her to Alpha first." "Yes, Alpha will decide." Oh no. Chapter 13, Alpha. And so Bulldog says, "Wake up." "Oh, what?" "You're in our territory." "Oh, sorry, I'm just." "We're talking to Alpha. Alpha will deal with you." Uh-oh. So we see that they are marching her up a mountain. Oh, that's a good detail. Like make her stick like everyone is drawn with a silhouette, but Rain Dog is kept blue. I like it. I like it. So this is a nice little detail with the trees and the clouds. Yeah. So let's see. The Bulldog's pointing at her and says, "You will show Alpha respect. You have not earned the right to speak to him. You will abide by his decision." And so he's grasping her by the wrist and leads her in. And the dog says, "Who goes there?" "Alpha, I bring you an intruder. We found her sleeping in our territory. Should we kill her?" "No. Wait outside and leave her with me." Uh-oh. So we see Rain Dog and the Alpha. They're just talking back and forth with a black background. And so the Alpha starts us off with, "Do excuse their bloodlust. There's a reason none of them are in charge. You have no collar. Do you have human masters?" "I don't anymore." "And I suppose they gave you a name." "I'm Princess." "Not here. Names are how humans know us. We have no need of them." And looks like they're still talking, but now we're doing different camera angles for this conversation. So it's splitting it up. So the first page with them was just like copy paste. Now we're getting some variety. Things are picking up. So the Alpha continues. "You have two options. Get out of our territory now. You'll have half an hour to get to the border. After that, and I'll stop holding the pack at bay, and they'll do what they will. Or stay with us. You're welcome here. We always need someone else to help hunt food." I don't know. That's not really the kind of dog I am, you know." "No? And what kind of dog are you?" Lost is the word that comes to mind. Here you can be who nature intended you to be." "He seemed as likely to have some answers as anyone else I'd come across." "Okay, I'll stay." And we both knew I had nowhere else to go. And chapter 14. Sometimes you gotta treat yourself. And this is a cool panel with this little banner of the dog snacking. It's very like UPA style. Really cool, really cool. Yeah, like I'm seeing like definitely getting a sense that there's like a wide like a wide range of influences here, because there's not a single thing where it's just like, oh, it looks like this guy's art. Like sometimes like this panel right here of Rain Dog here, it's like that kind of looks like a Dr. Seuss character, but or this one here, maybe like just like a smidge, but overall it's very very cartoony, and but this one looks very 50s UPA, and it still blends in with the rest of the art. There's never that like, oh, we're switching art styles now. It's just a very expressive and emotive comic. So let's see. So establishing shot of a store, and it says healthy pet. Just these then? Yes, thanks. 316, please. And we see a cat cashier. Thank you, ma'am. Come again. For the road. And we see that she's holding to the camera vegetarian dog snacks. I know, my species isn't supposed to avoid meat. It's unnatural. But consider all of this. How natural is it? How natural is anything you humans do? And she takes a chomp of that snack. She says, "Natural only matters when we don't have a choice." Oh boy. Man, we are oh man, this is yeah, it's getting more and more political. I I can see starting to see more of why this is so disliked, because if you aren't in the mindset to be preached to, it can be very off-putting. Um yeah, so far though, I'm not, I guess I'm not too offended hearing this liberal talk about vegan dog food. Let's see, in chapter 15, blood makes noise. And so we see the Alpha talking to Rain Dog. They're secluded in a forest. And so the Alpha says, "Concentrate. Let everything the humans have taught you fade away. Forget the dog the humans told you to be." And we see that she's thinking of her with a stick, being walked, and being hit with the newspaper. Remember the harm humans have done to you. She thinks back to her surgery. You are not one of them. You are one of us. Find the dog inside you, the beast, the killer. Oh, this is a great shot. The two characters are in silhouettes, even though it is very bright out. This does kind of have that like, yeah, I'm channeling my energy, I'm meditating kind of feeling. The very simple switch of the colors. You will submit no more to the pampered primates. You will submit to your alpha. You have wolves in your distant ancestry, noble hunters, noble killers. Find the wolf spirit inside you, your thirst for blood," he says. And as he's talking, we're getting a zoom in on his teeth, his pointy teeth. "You will kill.
You will taste fresh meat, warm, sticky blood. You will sink your fangs into your squealing victim. Can you feel it rising inside you? Oh, that's what Rain Dog says. Good. Now we hunt. Nice. Yeah, undoing the human brainwashing. Interesting. All right. Chapter 16, Hunt. So we see a shot of a tree. This is a lot more detailed. I wonder if it's like because now her senses have awakened. So now nature is going to be more more in focus. Very, very interesting art shift with this tree. So yeah, we see her in the forest. You get a big old sniff, and she smells a rabbit. Now she's on the prowl, rustling. The rabbit's over here. Now she's running. The rabbit's behind a tree. Uh-oh. And the rabbit starts crying, and she's like, oh, and she stops. She stops. Oh no. And the rabbit looks at her. The rabbit runs away. She's looking, and then cut to nighttime. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. This is good storytelling without words. This is good nonverbal. Yeah. So chapter 17, failure. For a while, I was able to keep up the ruse that I was just inexperienced or just unlucky. Darn, nothing again. But of course, it was only a matter of time before I had to answer for myself. And we see the alpha sitting on a rock with a stick. He's got a stick. He's gonna talk. We bring the meeting of the pack to order. Brothers and sisters, be seated. Our sister, the bee before you, apparently cannot hunt. We have seen this before. She has let the humans ruin her as a predator. Oh no! Let's kill her. Be quiet, Delta. If I could just. You be quiet too. You are useless for hunting and breeding. But that does not make you altogether useless. When the yield of the hunt is lean, the lowest of us are tasked with scavenging. You will go into human land and find whatever food they waste amongst their refuge. You want me to tip over trash cans? The humans have spoiled you for everything but their garbage. I don't like to admit it now, but by that time, they probably could have just decided to kill me, and I wouldn't have fought that hard. You will make the first raid when the yield from the hunt begins to run low. Yes, sir. And a few nights later, I found myself smelling suburbia again. Her hair's blowing in the wind, and she looks at some steaming garbage. This is a good smoke effect with this with the trash overlaying the trees. Interesting. I put the memories in the back of my mind and got to work. Chapter 18, Control, starts with a big catcher's net. My first few raids went pretty well. I felt approved of. And so she's handing him a big turkey, like a big rotisserie chicken kind of. But repetition can make you careless, and she's about to chomp on a bone. I only raided the trash cans of houses that were dark, so I can only guess the neighbors must have made the call. Uh-oh. Oh no! So we see some headlights, see some people with flashlights. She gets a dart, thunk, blur. Everything goes blurry and then black. Oh no! Whoa! What is this? Whoa! This is a wow. This is a great shot. So we see in the foreground, we see some trees, we see a cat with a picket sign, and we see Rain Dog is talking to a big crowd. It's a kind of a, we see a different, it looks like a lighter blue, kind of purplish than what we've been seeing. So I'm assuming this is like a new scene, new chapter. And so she says, I hope I could speak for all of us, human and animal, every color and nationality and size and breed and species. We are not here to make demands. We are not here to threaten. We are not here to beg. We are here to make a simple and congenial assertion of a basic fact that all beings who can feel deserve compassion, and all beings who can think deserve to command their own destinies. Humans of this city, we, your best friends, love and respect you without condition. The time has come for you to listen to us. And we say, oh, fuck. Oh, no. And so someone from off screen says, he's got a gun. We hear shooting sound effects, and then get Rain out of here, get her out of here now. And then there's a shot of some kind of liquid. I don't know what.
And then the microphone is dropped. Holy shit. Act 1, and next page says Act 1, and we see the dog sitting on a fence with the quote, "The dog has seldom been successful in pulling man up to his level of sagacity, but man has frequently dragged the dog down to his." Oh man. Looks like we're getting a flashback. Oh man, is that the last page? So it's a flashback um of the boy and the dog, and he says, "Dang it, princess, get back here. Hee hee. What part of fetch do you not get?" Pat pat pat. Ruh, 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 ruh. What? Do I win now? And we see the dog holding the stick, and boy's looking a little annoyed. Let me see if let me see, like, is there more of this? Like, is that did she start or sorry, this person, I don't know. It's tagged as transgender, so I want to be careful. I don't want to assume any pronouns. So, like, is that just it? Like, where it's just like, yeah, I guess so. Damn. Let me take a second to gather my thoughts. Hey chat, I have gathered my thoughts. I tried to inch away from talking about house pets at the start of this, but I realized I cannot talk about Rain Dog without bringing up house pets because this fully delivered on two major shortcomings of house pets. The first shortcoming is the unpleasantness of the characters. Everyone in house pets is incredibly grouchy and irritable, and there's a good deal of friction that doesn't need to be there. I never got that sense while reading Rain Dog. There is some smug liberal atheism and talking down to the audience. That's where the character writing is at its weakest. But this is an active protagonist, and the story does make you care about her. It's about how she sees things from her specific point of view. So it's not just the character's political beliefs. We're also made to see the furry side of things. I'm thinking specifically about how she describes smell and when she reflects on Laika. As for the political messaging, that is the second issue where this is a tremendous improvement over house pets. So in house pets, the animals can talk. It's riffing on the idea of what if your pet dog or cat had human level intelligence and sprawling from there. Now, I am assuming that House Pets was written on the fly. It updated 3 times a week in its heyday with way too many filler arcs in the first year alone. So I do want to have that forgiveness and understanding towards House Pets for its incredibly clunky world building. However, the animal rights issues in House Pets are clumsy at best, stupid at worst. Now, I am giving the disclaimer that I have not read all of House Pets. Maybe this particular issue does improve. In part 1 of my review of House Pets, I cover most of year 1. I end that video with a big old engagement bait and the old, oh, comment if you want a part 2. But since I simply could not stop thinking about House Pets, I went ahead and started on part 2 before that one went live. So, because House Pets is a work that reveals everything about Rick Griffin and nothing about the world. It is not a work that wants to challenge its audience. It puts Rick Griffin on a soapbox and like-minded furries gobbled it up. That's not saying it needed to do something different. I'm just baffled at its explosive popularity. I am grossly fascinated by House Pets because everything about it feels monumentally wrong, and it bothers me because I should be able to relate to this. I should be able to relate to a comic made for very online furries, but instead I'm struggling to see this magic eye poster of their political beliefs. And in part 2 of my House Pets review that I'm currently working on, I reach a point in the story where they introduce PETA, the real world animal rights organization PETA, into their comic. And nothing about it makes sense. The only way I can reverse engineer the existence of PETA in their world of House Pets is if, when it was written, Rick Griffin felt confident that his audience would uncritically and unquestionably pump their fists at the idea of him strolling up on stage and saying, PETA bad. But in House Pets, the pets can talk. The pets have human level intelligence, but they are given the same legal protection as pets in our world. So the implication of PETA, it makes sense in their world where it seems like they are doing um like an animal separationist movement in PETA, and it seems I am guessing that PETA in House Pets was inspired by the case of the PETA's animal shelter that very wrongfully took people's pets, they went on the street and they like lost dogs who were very obvious dogs that just got out, and they euthanized them. And um and 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 PETA has some people in it that are for total animal separation, that simply owning pets is is seen as detrimental to the well-being of animals. Now, in-house pets, that political belief makes sense. It does not make sense. It does not make too much sense in our world. I go into more detail in my review, that'll with part 2 of my house pets review. But but like it's one of those things where it's I don't agree with that, but also if animal welfare is at the forefront of your mind, I I understand, or I want to understand how somebody would arrive at the conclusion that all pet ownership is evil. Now, for house pets to do this, for house pets to have this concept and say that all pet ownership is evil, even though um the the house pets the pets themselves do not have any meaningful protection. Like, for example, they face pretty widespread societal discrimination. It doesn't look like they can have jobs, or I'm not sure if they can own property. There there's a point where they're is the, there's some ferrets that eventually join the cast, and they are all suspiciously wealthy, and they are given this large inheritance by their previous owner, who was a suspiciously wealthy billionaire. And this billionaire had the philosophy of, oh, I want society to see that animals are not just beasts, that they are capable of thinking and feeling. Like, I forgot exactly um how they described it. I'm thinking specifically, like, there's a strip where um the ferret's like drinking an orange soda, and he brings a wolf in his car, and he's saying, and he was like relaying to the wolf how his previous owner felt about the state of animal welfare in their world. And and um and so it's like, well, if this is something that you are fighting against, something that is that is like, where this is an act of oppression in your society that needs to be fought against, why is PETA bad? I am not thinking of PETA in our world. I'm thinking of PETA in the house pets world, because to take the stance of, no, having pets is evil and wrong, that is far more valid in the house pets world. Um, and so they introduce these two guys from PETA, and there's a fat guy. I don't think the fat guy has a name, and a skinny guy named Joel. And Joel, um, he says he joined PETA because PETA doesn't run background checks, because he has a criminal history. It does not, at this point in time, they have not disclosed what his crime was. And and um and for that, it's like, well, okay, like, why should that make me angry towards that person because he has a criminal record? I mean, what did he do? First of all, like, what do we do? That's the other thing. Like, House Pets is very oddly pro cop, but it also has, like, kind of that liberal centrism. Like, it's very bizarre. Like, it's one of those, like, I don't know if that it because like ACAB was not part of the vocabulary when House Pets was written. And so I so so Joel joined PETA because they did not do background checks. And we have a flashback of Joel, and Joel reveals that he that as a child he ran away from home with his cat and his dog because his parents were abusing the cat and dog. But after a few nights on the street, the cat and dog abandoned him. And then we flash forward to the present day, and as he's being arrested, he says like, "Well, I should have known. They were animals just like you." As he's saying it to the cop dog that is arresting him. And and so gosh. So Joel has like he also like as he is getting arrested, he says to the cop dog, "I would like my rights to be read by a human." And the dog says, "Oh, because of this court case, animals can legally read the Miranda rights when you're being arrested." Um, the thing is, so Joel is arrested because he was assisting in a kidnapping plot, and the fat guy who was in PETA, he wanted to euthanize the dog that they were kidnapping because fat guy's thinking was, that the animals who have spent more time with humans that they are just broken, and so the ethical thing to do for pets is to just euthanize them because they are like their wires are just so scrambled that there's no hope for recovery. Joel did not know this. I think that Joel was just like that he just wanted to separate the animal and put it in the forest. But when the animal gets separated, he goes, "No, I don't like this. I want to be civilized." And so there is that like, okay, they're not listening to the person that they're trying to save. That makes them a bad guy. Okay. I'll give you that much. The thing is, and I'm going through the entire Joel story because I like documenting all of the things like because he does have what seems to be a normal amount of animal bias and animal prejudice where it's like yes he works for PETA and he did assist in a kidnapping. I'm not like trying to be like kidnapping's fine, like I mean like the way that he where he says like, "Oh, I want my Miranda rights read by a human." I don't think that's wildly xenophobic in their world. Um and and so I'm thinking like, okay, but what has this guy done specifically that is anti-animal other than the kidnapping? Um because like I don't see anything like okay, the kidnapping, it's like what was he just going along with the fat guy? Because he didn't know that the fat guy wanted to euthanize the animal. Now, um I'm saying all this because eventually in House Pets, Joel gets turned into a dog as a sort of divine punishment for his bigotry towards animals. And I was just scratching my noggin like, what do you mean? How is Joel that much worse than the other humans in this? Like, like if an animal does not like their owner, what can they do? Like, so far, it's suggested that if a pet is dealt a raw hand and they have a shitty owner, they just kind of have to put up with it. Um, and given that the animals in this world are written with human level intelligence, yeah, there are some horrifying implications there. Um, it never goes too dark, but it does reference that things could be dark in that like there is a dog, I think her name was Sasha the dog, and her dad just got a dog to pick up chicks. So he's always like, and he takes it out on Sasha, and he's a heavy drinker, and so he throws Sasha out for the night, and and he blames her for a lot of his problems, and but like she can't do anything. It like they haven't shown that she can just say like, "Oh, this fucking sucks." Like there's no like animal equivalent of child protective services that we've seen in this world. And the only animal liberation that we've seen is from PETA, which we are supposed to assume is bad because PETA in our world is bad. And it's very clumsy. I and so Joel's punishment in House Pets does not make sense. Where it's like, oh, for your crimes, for being a big old bigot, we will turn you into a dog, and then you'll see how it feels. Like his partner in PETA, like he was intending to kill the dog. So it's like, what is it like? Oh, this guy's just too far gone. Like, are we gonna get a moment of empathy from House Pets where it's like, oh, Joel, you could improve, but your partner, um, he's a little he's got a little mental illness, so we can't be too hard on it. Like, are they gonna go that route? Um, so the implication of PETA does not make sense in their world. Joel's punishment does not make sense, and so it's just very puzzling how House Pets present things. Whereas like Rain Dog, I'm sure you could nitpick for the world building. I'm sure that there are things that don't make sense, but there was a consistent internal logic with Rain Dog. So I never felt like it was just making shit up to make a political point. Like, but Rain Dog is incredibly political, and I think that's why it rubbed people the wrong way. It's taking the premise of what if pets could talk, and it's making it incredibly serious. I don't know how you could do this premise and not have it take this angle. What comes to mind is a doom and gloom misery porn or more harmless pet alien girlfriend anime harem bullshit. Um, with Rain Dog, I feel like like when they got preachy about veganism, and the U.S. healthcare system, I feel like this is the kind of person I would want to do this. Let's do a very politically minded animal rights story. I you know, I do wonder if it's fair to compare this to Beasters. I don't think Beasters was a very interesting world where there was where there was no there's no direct real world equivalent. I don't want to bring up Beasters because I bring up Beasters in my House Pets review as well. So I don't want to repeat myself too hard. Um, but as far as like, oh, let's make talking animals, but they're real and they're fighting for political rights. It's like I want somebody who is more left leaning than me to tell that story, and to make me like interrogate my and make a work that interrogates my beliefs and will make something very politically minded. Whereas like House Pets, it's like it just takes this very aggravating, like, I don't know if centrism's the right word. I don't know, because it's like it's definitely I definitely feel like House Pets leans more to the right than me. And then like, here's my enlightened centrism, and then Rain Dog, it's like probably I'm gonna guess this author is more left leaning than me, and it's just like, yeah, I want somebody who's further down the like in as far as like the political spectrum goes. It's like I want somebody who is more left wing to tell me, hey, animal rights are really fucking important. Animal rights are like, we need to have this at the forefront of our mind. If animals could talk, they would be like, this would be really fucked up. And actually animals are very emotional, high-minded creatures, and so we need like, and having that urgency, like we need to do something about this. And to tell me that kind of story, then it's like, okay, yeah, like I want to see your point of view. I want to hear this. Whereas like House Pets being just this like, oh, PETA's bad because they don't want me to have pets. And it's like, okay, but like, Rick, buddy, think through why somebody would have that point of view. um, so I think that as far as political comics go, Rain Dog is better because it does give that creative leeway. And okay, there are a few times where the story stops and you get preached at. Yes, I will give you that, but it is not every strip. I think when creators are more politically minded, a lot of times they will get it in their head that they have to have a moral and social responsibility to make sure that their beliefs are thoroughly understood and that they are correct. this is how we end up with the old pray for me as I take this journey to read this left-wing meme Doge comic. I think that this comic, Rain Dog, it did have enough breathing room. It was doing creative things visually. It was telling the story of Rain Dog, the character, first and foremost. So when it did come to the screeching halt to tell you veganism is based and the US healthcare system is garbage, I felt like I could brush it off. But somebody more conservative, they might feel annoyed at this, or if or if you can just more nebulously call yourself left. I also like, yeah, that's also something I got to break up. It's like I know there's more than just right versus left. I know. I gotta start generalizing using the political compass for quadrants. but but look, somebody on the left side, uh they might read Rain Dog and have that self cringe of like, come on, man, we don't need more liberal comics where the protagonist is rolling her eyes at made up microaggressions like that. That might come off as a bit corny. um, but I think this story did a lot to set up people's expectations because it is gorgeous, because it is competent. There's a lot of creative storytelling choices using the medium of comics. So when it veers into real world politics, it can be off putting. There could be that sense of, hey man, I didn't sign up for this. And I think if this was drawn in the art style of something like Sonichu, the interspecies romance angle would not catch me off guard as hard. Like you would expect bizarro implications if it looked a little uglier. And yeah, it really caught me off guard, but I don't want to power level too hard. Like, you know, I've read worse comics than Rain Dog, but like, I mean, I've drawn worse than Rain Dog. Thing is though, if you go to E621 and you comment, "What the hell is this shit?" you will be banned on site. The mods will evaporate you. um, eh, Rain Dog does a good job of making the readers uncomfortable and following that up with the immediate consequence of the dog getting fixed. Okay. I'm sorry I was so flummoxed by that scene. I have slept through every biology class I have ever attended, so I wasn't exactly sure what was happening. I just know I just know when I'm done filming this, I'm gonna ask Papa Google what happens when you neuter your pets if pee is stored in the balls. um, but I think that think that that's about all of my thoughts on Rain Dog. Let's hit some super chats. Let's hit the super chats that we got on Tuesday that made this video possible. Thank you again. So Odunzes Mole says for $5, my vote unleashes Rain Dog's furry storm. Dare the Dream Eater feast on this soul-slicing scandal's venomous bait? um, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Odunzes Mole was the one who suggested Rain Dog as because I was asking in chat, hey, I don't know what to do for the bonus episode. Give me your suggestions. We'll put it to a vote. And he suggested Rain Dog. I hopefully you're happy with the results there, buddy. I mean, I think he suggest. I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna take a guess because I'm not sure what this guy's deal is. So I'm gonna guess that Odunze's Mole suggested this because it's like a freak out thing. It's like, oh man, I'm gonna suggest the craziest thing. Okay. All right. So Crystalline Fos says, been thoroughly enjoying this so far, meaning my Dreamkeepers review. Love the world design and the way the colors are utilized. Yeah, Dreamkeepers had great color design. Absolutely gorgeous comic. I do still try in that review to try to keep up the audio description so you could just go and fuck off and do whatever you want, but it is definitely a comic worth reading on your own and taking in those visuals on your own time. And so Odunze's Mole comes in with another super chat saying, reading Rain Dog will reveal who you really are. I guess so. I mean, that's all of art is you read it and you give your reaction. That it'll say a lot about your values. And Odunze's Mole comes in again. Odunze's Mole says, feeling pantsed already? Too bad. I'm dragging you yipping into another furry comic where the dogs strut around shamelessly pantsless. A little winky emoji. Yeah, that was a big thing in house pets was they don't wear pants, and it is a thing in house pets. It's a little uncomfortable. And then Crystalline Foes sealed the deal with the goal and said, "Rain dog, game dog for ya gay dog," with a happy face emoji. Yeah, rain dog, game dog for you gay dog. Nice, nice. Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm really glad I could be put to work and do this bonus episode for every pony. Oh, sorry. I got lost in the YouTube Studios dashboard. It's like my brain just shut off looking at all the numbers. Like, oh, that's a pretty good rule. Is if you make YouTube try to not get too sucked into the analytics. But but I do greatly appreciate the support. It means a lot. And thank you again to Crystalline Foes and Odunzes Mole. If there's anything you want to plug in the description of this video, let me know. I'll put your link there. Crystalline Foes is on YouTube. Go check out her channel. I don't know what the hell Odunzes Mole is up to, but hey, man, you got anything you want to plug? Go ahead, let me know. Um, but yeah, thank you all so much. This was certainly an interesting read, and I will be back on Tuesday for part 1 of my house pets review. Hope to see you there. Bye bye.